I am not what happened to me, I am what I choose to become. You are what you do, not what you'll say you'll do. The pendulum of the mind oscillates between sense and nonsense, not between right and wrong. The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. Where wisdom reigns, there is no conflict between thinking and feeling. Every form of addiction is bad, no matter whether the narcotic be alcohol, morphine, or idealism. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. There's no coming to consciousness without pain. No tree, it is said, can grow to heaven unless its roots reach down to hell. Thinking is difficult. That's why most people judge. We cannot change anything unless we accept it. I shall not commit the fashionable stupidity of regarding everything I cannot explain as a fraud. If one does not understand a person, one tends to regard him as a fool. The bigger the crowd, the more negligible the individual becomes. Sometimes you have to do something unforgivable just to be able to go on living. Loneliness does not come from having no people around you, but from being unable to communicate the things that seem important to you. If the path before you is clear, you're probably on someone else's. The true leader is always led. Even a happy life cannot be without a measure of darkness, and the word happy would lose its meaning if it were not balanced by sadness. It is far better to take things as they come along with patience and equanimity. For better to come, good must stand aside. Had I left those images hidden in the emotions, I might have been torn to pieces by them. Creative power is mightier than its possessor. Whatever we look at, and however we look at it, we see only through our own eyes. The meaning of my existence is that life has addressed a question to me, or conversely, I myself am a question which is addressed to the world and I must communicate my answer, for otherwise I am dependent upon the world's answer. Where your fear is, there is your task. The secret is that only that which can destroy itself is truly alive. A man who has not passed through the inferno of his passions has never overcome them. The greatest and most important problems of life are all fundamentally insoluble. They can never be solved, but only outgrown. All the works of man have their origin in creative fantasy. What right have we, then, to depreciate imagination? To be normal is a splendid ideal for the unsuccessful. Who has fully realized that history is not contained in thick books but lives in our very blood? I have gradually learned to be cautious, even in disbelief. How difficult it is to reach anything approaching a moderate and relatively calm point of view in the midst of one's emotions. We are always human, and we should never forget the burden of being only human. Your vision will become clear only when you can look into your heart. Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakens. Nothing so promotes the growth of consciousness as the inner confrontation of opposites. There is no rule that is true under all circumstances, for this is the real and not a statistical world. Because the statistical method shows only the average aspects, it creates an artificial and predominantly conceptual picture of reality. One cannot live from anything except what one is. In the last analysis, most of our difficulties come from losing contact with our instincts, with the age-old forgotten wisdom stored up in us. I am astonished, disappointed, pleased with myself. I am distressed, depressed, rapturous. I am all these things at once, and cannot add up the sum. All the corpses in the world are chemically identical, but living individuals are not. The fact is that each person has to do something different, something that is uniquely his own. Life calls not for perfection, but for completeness. I had to follow the ineradicable foolishness which furnishes the steps to true wisdom. Where there is a will, there is a way. If I want to understand an individual human being, I must lay aside all scientific knowledge of the average man and discard all theories in order to adopt a completely new and unprejudiced attitude. Alcohol is the reduced form of spirit. Therefore, many people lacking spirit take to drink. They fill themselves with alcohol. Crimes the individual alone could never stand are freely committed by the group. Let me know which quote was your favorite in the comments, and subscribe for more inspirational quotes like these.